Hello dear ones, it's Maria from the channel the the Awakening Path, and today I would like to give you a presentation about Earth's evolution from its creation 4 billion years ago until the next golden age that's about to start. I will give you some time for you to take a screenshot of this page and those three. I'm giving you a little bit of time. You have a chance to do that later also. Now I have some housekeeping to do. As I told, this presentation is mostly based on Ismael Perez's book and also Dolores Cannon's book and other sources of information too, but those were the main ones. So first I'd like to talk to you about my channel. Let me start showing my screen. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I'm so sorry about that. Let me decrease myself a little bit here on the screen, and I'll show you my screen. My name is Leonora. I make videos in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. So far I have 959 videos in YouTube in about a year. So I worked really hard last year, and I make videos in 3 languages. For each language, I create a playlist. Let me show you how I do that. So if you just type the Awakening Path, the Awakening Path, you're gonna see me here. So when you click, you're gonna see all the shorts that I create. I always do one in each language most of the time. I only do in English if I think it's pertinent only to US or to the people that speak English. And then I have all those playlists. You'll see that each playlist you're gonna have the name of the language on it. So if you wanted to listen in English, you can easily go there. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is, but before that, I thought I was showing my screen, but I wasn't. I will give you a chance to take a screenshot of this one. We're gonna follow this timeline from 4 billion years ago to the next golden age that's about to start anytime. And the next 3 pages, I'm gonna explain about each event in a certain date. So let's talk about Ismael's book. His second edition of the book supposed to be available at Amazon, but if you go, for example, Ismael Perez book, let's say just Ismael Perez, you can only see the old version. You are not able to locate the new version. The research tool in Amazon will never guide you to the new version. Why is that? I don't know. But you have other option. Instead of go to eBay and buy the book for $26, $27. That is how people selling there. You can go to Our Cosmic Origin and click on the in the Amazon link, and then it will bring you to the right version. So that's how you'll find his new book. And this is the book that I'm basing the presentation on. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is, for more than a year, that has been my only work, my only job. After I was letting go of my job for not complying with the you know what. So I decided to accept donations for the channel. If you guys feel in your heart to do it, you can do in two ways. I have the link for my PayPal on the description of this video, and from there you can either use your, let me use this one. You can either use a credit card or use the PayPal. So you have an option to use a credit card, because I understand not many people really want to use PayPal. Those are the suggested amount. Why 2, Eleonora? Because 2 means union. I like the number 2s. But you can choose any amount that you want. And in the end of this presentation, I will pick up one of the people that make donations during this presentation, and I am gonna give a coach session with me for 1 hour. So in the end of this presentation, I am gonna tell you who would be the lucky one who did that. When you go to the PayPal or even using the credit card, you have the option to leave me a message. So that will be nice to hear a message from you. And another way also is so PayPal allow me to use like the barcode for a tip jar. It shows you another screen, but it also goes to me. But for some reason, doesn't really give you an option for a third to choose the amount. So I had to predefine 3 amounts. So you have those 2 ways to do it. And in the end of the presentation, I am gonna randomly pick someone to have a quote session with me. I just wanted to clarify that I do not channel, and I also don't do tarot reading. My coach is based on my experience and my intuition, and I also can automatic writing, even though I'm doing more for myself and friends. So that's an option. I think that's all with the homework, the housekeeping. And just one more thing, let me start showing the screen to start the presentation. So if you want, again, take another print screen of this part, so you can check it out later one by one. And so far there are people from 39 countries watching my videos. I will be really happy if you take a moment right now, while more people take a screenshot of this page, And just type in the description from which country you are watching my video now. I will be very happy to see that. So don't worry about not being able to go through the whole screen, because I will come back to this later. And here you have all the topics that we're going to talk about today. I will try to cover everything. So I believe we're going to take around 1 hour and a half. You may ask me, Maria Eleonora, why you are promoting Ismael Perez book? Because what I'm going to tell you here is just a highlight of the book. If you want to know in more detail, or if you wanted to know everything that is there, you're going to need the book, or you go and tune in straight with his Instagram. He's always bringing a lot of information in his Instagram. So here I will give you more a highlight. And just to let you know that, as I mentioned before, not everything that I'm going to tell here is in his book. Some I got from Dolores Cannon book or other sources. And I would say that not all those dates are 100% accurate, but I think they are pretty close. For example, doesn't matter if Earth was created 4 billion years ago or 3.5 billion years ago, really. I don't think it's make much difference, but I think the sequence of the events are pretty close. That's why I'm feeling comfortable to do this presentation. So what happened 4 billion years ago? The reptilian race was dropped on the Milky Way galaxy. That's what happened. And they were dropped here for a purpose, and that purpose was to kill and enslave and eradicate all organic life on the galaxy. That was their purpose. So they started the wars, and 4 billion years ago they destroyed a planet called Avion. And from the destruction of this planet, it was a planet in the Lyra constellation, the two parts of that planet came to our solar system, was held by Alcyone, that's in the center of the Pleiades, and one was kept on our solar system between Mars and Jupiter. It was a big planet. It was like 3 times bigger than the Earth, and the name given to this planet was Tiamat. And another part of Avion became the what people call the phantom planet, that actually is Nibiru, that has an elliptic orbit that goes around the solar system and all the way to the Sirius stars. So this planet patrols most of the big part of the galaxy, all those solar systems on that part of the galaxy. That's why he has this elliptic orbit, and it works as a battle ship. A petrol is an organic spaceship, let's say this way. I know it's a very new concept for many of you, but basically that's what it is. So that's how Earth was created, first with the name of Tiamat, and it was placed in between the Mars and Jupiter. And then what happened 600 million years ago? The first humanoid being came to the Milky Way galaxy. It was an embodiment of Archangel Michael. I think first going down on dimensions, I think when he came, he was on the 6th or 7th dimension. That's how he was. His being was vibrating on the 6th, 7th dimension. And as I explained in another video about the archangels, all the archangels has their counterpart. So he didn't incarnate alone as Adam Cadman. He had his mate. There was an incarnation of Faith or Michelle. That's the, let's say, the twin flame of the Archangel Michael. I'm not sure if that's really the way to say. So he came on the Milky Way galaxy on the lighter star system. And that's what originated all the human race, the humanoid race on the Milky Way galaxy. We are directly descendants of Adam Cadman. Again, you don't need to believe in everything that I say. Just take what resonates with you, just for curiosity. Don't go yet if you think that's too crazy. Maybe you get a little crazier, but I think it's worth to go to the end. It's up to you. So what happened 550 million years ago? The first race, Earth was seeded for the first time. That's what happened. And when Earth was seeded, the race was called Polarians. There was the first root race. And of course, they were there for a long time. And something happened. I'm not sure exactly what happened. So some left, some died, others went to the inner earth, and right now they are the guardians of the golden city on the inner earth. So they still exist, and they are millions of years old. I would say eternal, because their DNA is different. They have crystalline DNA. They don't have the carbon-based DNA like us on the third dimension. So I'm not sure exactly when happened the destruction of Tiamat, but that's what happened. When the lighter wars was happening, the king of lighter at the time, he foresee what was about to happen. So he sent out expedition through all over the galaxy to spread the humanoid race in other parts of the galaxy, and this way preserve the race. So many went to Earth, went to the solar system. And when they came to the solar system, they habitate they came not only to the solar system, but to Sirius and Alpha Centauri, the Pleiades, and many others. So all the planets in the solar system, they were habitated by those beings, those humanoid beings that came from Lyra during the war. So they were living here in peace, everything was beautiful, but when the reptilians find out, oh, there are lots of people missing here, let's go look for them. So they would send an expedition and they would find them. They would find these people here on the solar system. But when they would come, they would tell the lighters and all the light beings that was living on the solar system at the time would beam them with a lot of love, and they slowly would change. So instead of the reptilians try to destroy them, they were becoming more loving. They were activating their higher chakras, because from the third chakra down, like the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root, they are more connected to earth and more connected to the material. But when you go to the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, they are more connected to the spirituality. So instead of they destroy the solar system and everything there was in it, they were becoming enlightened. That was beautiful. But the king of the Draco, the reptilians living on the Draco constellation, when he found out about that, he was really mad. He didn't like that. So what he did, he slowly sent new people with a mission to convince everybody that was already here to create a plot and destroy all the other humanoid races that was here, all the organic life here. But what happened is, those people, they were very highly spiritual and they can see the future, so they knew what was about to come. So what they did, they prepared a rescue mission where they rescue all the and their main concentration of the reptilians was on the planet Tiamat. So they removed all the people that was sided to the light into a spaceship called Pegasus, including 2% from all the reptilians that was already in Tiamat. Only 2% decided to remain with the light, and they also was rescued. And after all the light beings was rescued, what they did, they destroy Tiamat by detonating the power sources of the planet. So the surface of Tiamat became the asteroid belt called Colbert. And the core of Tiamat, I know this is Jupiter, I'm just trying to give you an allegory. So the core of Tiamat was moved position and placed itself in between Venus and Mars. And one little piece also followed the core, and that was our organic moon. In one of my videos, I already made 2 videos about the solar system, and Earth already had another moon that actually was part of Jupiter during some explosions on the surface of Jupiter. That's why Jupiter has so many moons. But one of, actually they have 79 moons, I guess, but one escaped and crossed everything and was held by Earth. So there was another organic moon from Earth. So that's how Tiamat became Earth. So about 3.5 million years ago, the the Earth was seated again with the Hyperborean, sorry I put here Hyperborean, but it's actually called Hyperborean, on the land of Mu. And there was the second root race. And unfortunately, this race was eliminated 2 million years ago. But again, those people are spiritual, so they foresee the future. So some also went under the earth, and they are still there. So 2 million years ago, a lot of things happened on the solar system. So first, remember after they destroyed Tiamat, they eliminated all the reptilians from the solar system. And they protected the solar system. The solar system was a place highly protected. The reptilians had no way to come and do nothing because they were not allowed. But they did find out a way to infiltrate the solar system, of course. In Mars, there was a stargate that was highly guarded, but somehow somebody slept on the job and the reptilians started to infiltrate the solar system through Mars. They would come through Mars and then they would move to a planet called Maldek. That was the last planet on the solar system. So they would go to Maldek. And they were doing that for a long time. And about 2 million years ago, they decided to go ahead with their plan. So as soon as Nibiru had left the solar system, they knew they would take a long time to come back. So what they did? They started to eliminate all the humanoid races, all the organic lives on the solar system, including the Hyperborean that was on the land of Mu. It's right here. There was in the land of Mu. When Nibiru came, so they didn't have much thing left. So they bombed Maldek and destroyed Maldek and all the reptilians that was there. By doing that, Maldek became the other asteroid belt that's all the way surrounding the last asteroid belt that's called Kuiper. That Kuiper belt one day was the planet called Maldek. And they didn't waste time and they repopulate Earth again with the third root race. But this time they decided to create, to bring 4 more races, not just one. So there was, at the same time, you had Lemuria, the Lemurians on the continent of Lemuria. You had the Mayans on the, what today is Mexico. Here's the same one, just in the other side. They had Rama, what today is India, and they had Yu, what today is China. So, but again, those all those beings, all those races, they were highly spiritual, and they would do almost everything with their mind, and they were always in tune with the nature and really become one with the nature, and everything that they needed, they would work with Earth to provide it to them. So there was really no need for technology. So there was no technology at that time. That's why about 900,000 years ago, a little more than that, less than 1 million years ago, they decided to bring the fourth root race. There was mainly one of the main person that was behind that project was a person called Atlas. There was, I think, I've forgotten that. It was related to Anu, one of the Annunakis. So the purpose of the Atlanteans was to merge technology with spirituality. They were succeeding in doing that in the Pleiades. So they just thought, oh, I think we can do that here too. So that's when our fate started to change. However, for almost 500,000 years, all those 5 races lived peacefully among themselves. So before I explain about the coming of the Anunnaki, I will show you again a picture, this one. Let's just recapitulate a little bit. So Earth was created 4 billion years ago as Tiamat, and it was located between Mars and Jupiter, and it was 3 times the size of Earth. And then they lived in peace. We had heaven and earth throughout all the time. All the races that would come was highly spiritual, connected to God, because they were vibrating on the 5th dimension and up. So they remember they were one with God. So there was love and peace everywhere. Let's put it this way. But at about 1 million years ago, there was an infiltration on the planet called Nibiru. Remember when Avion was destroyed, there was the remains of that. It was created 2 planets. One was Tiamat, that became Earth, and the other was Nibiru, that was the petrol planet. So there was an infiltration on Nibiru. Anu, remember that 2% of the reptilians was rescued with the other light beings. So after some time, those people start to really some of them start really to rebel again. So in an attempt to create peace, Anu married Dramin, that was the queen of the Draco, the reptilians that also was rescued. So there was the beginning of the infiltration. Remember, they did not have access to the solar system. So they decided to infiltrate Nibiru from within. So from this union of Anu with Ramin came Enki. And Enki, he was 50% reptilian and 50% humanoid. So his soul, many believe that actually his soul is his higher self, let's say, is Lucifer, the fallen angel. So that's when the infiltration came. However, in the other side, Anu also married his cousin, that was the queen of Alcyone, and had in Leo. So in Leo was the opposite of Enki. That's when the duality plays. And those two characters from 1 million years ago are the ones that keep playing all the affairs of Earth. So let's continue, but let's just tell you that from 4 billion years ago until the fall of Atlantis, actually until 25 million years ago, they were living the heaven on earth. So let's go back to the Anunnaki again. Let me continue from the current. So why the Anunnaki came to Earth? When they destroyed the planet Maldek 2 million years ago, the planet Maldek had lots of nuclear bombs. And when it was destroyed, it damaged the surface, the atmosphere of Nibiru. And that slowly was decreasing their lifespan. So they figured out we need to fix the atmosphere of Nibiru or our race will be extinct. So what they did, they find out that gold, they could use gold, I'm not sure exactly how, but they could use gold to repair the atmosphere of Nibiru. So they come up with the great idea, more infiltration, because so far Enki was more than 500,000 years, but he didn't had any access to Earth yet, because that's what they wanted from the very beginning. He wasn't really playing his role yet. So it's okay, let's go to Earth, because there they have lots of gold. So we can go there and mine the gold and save Nibiru, and maybe we'll leave later. It's okay, for the sake of Nibiru, let's do it. So that's how they came to Earth, to mine the gold to save the Nibiru atmosphere. So more about the Anunnaki later. Actually, I think I'm a little bit confused about when Enki degraded our DNA. For me, it would make sense that it was not 30,000 years ago, but 300,000 years ago, because the reason why they did that, they wanted to, they didn't want to mine the gold themselves. But who was living on Earth that time? The Lemurians, the Atlanteans, the Mayans, Rama. There was highly advanced spiritual beings. They wouldn't be able to force them to enslave them. There was no way. So they needed to create an enslaved race to mine the gold. So for me, it doesn't really make much sense that they would mine the gold for 400,000 years and then create a race. I think they would do more, most likely they would do for 100,000 years and then come up with that idea. So let's just continue here. What happened 5,000 years ago? There was brought to the solar system, there was brought to Earth another moon, an artificial moon. And this artificial moon was brought here by the reptilians, and it came from the Orion, the lower part of Orion, and it should irradiate the energy of Orion and replicate here to Earth. So there was a reason for that. I may make another video about that, how that moon was used along with the rings of Saturn in order to keep us in a lower vibration. So just to tell you that 5,000 years ago, that other moon was brought here to Earth, and I saw in about two or three other sources that who brought that moon was the Andromeda. What I didn't think make much sense, but I didn't saw anywhere else that was somebody else. So I just said, okay, let's go with Andromeda. But that makes sense, that was the reptilian. And what happened is, when you do researches like that, they take a fact and then they twist it around a little bit. So whoever put that information there saying there was Andromeda, they were disclosure that yes, we have an artificial moon, but it's for our own good because it was the Andromeda who bring. But actually, that wasn't really the truth. I'm more Ismael saying in his book that came from Orion, and for me make more sense. If you want to know more about that, go and watch this movie, Moonfall. There is a lot of disclosure there. And I made a video about the Moonfall review, comparing with our cosmic origin. If you want to take a look at this video, that will be interesting. So let's move on. So as I told, I think it was 40,000 years ago, not 30 years ago. But what happened is the Anunnaki that was mining the gold, to go under the earth was too hot for them. They just said, oh, we can't do it. You guys better find another solution because we are not going to do it. We can't not help Tiamat this way. Oh, not Tiamat, Nibiru this way. We need a solution. So Enki came with the amazing idea to create an enslaved race. I said, oh, let's just get one of the animals we have here and just upgrade them a little bit and put them to mine the gold for them. What's bad with that? In Leo didn't like, no, we are not the creators, we are not the master of the creation. So, but anyway, they decided to do anyway. But what they really did, they took the celestial DNA, the DNA matrix that was on the plane, on the Atlanteans, with the god gene, and combined with their own DNA, the Anunnaki DNA, plus the resin protein of primates from Africa. So the primates from Africa, which was just to try to make sure the race was a little bit dumber, to be allowed to be enslaved. So that's what they did, and they created these other race to mine the gold for them. And of course, the humanoids, we just mingle. That's what we do. So they mingle with the Atlanteans, with everybody, and now like 87% of the humans on Earth have the HR positive. That means the protein of the monkey that our ancestors in some time was one of those. They are descendant of that enslaved race manipulated by Enki. It's not that he created the human race. He didn't create it. He just downgraded. That's what happened. So let's continue. So that's what they wanted. About 300,000 years ago, they created the race that was slowly infiltrating here the Atlantis and Lemuria and mingle with everybody. And in some time, Enki was in charge of the Atlantis. Enki was in charge of Atlantis. And they slowly, remember the Atlantis, they came to bring technology. So they were able to slowly seduce the Atlanteans to side with them. So they were able to, they offer more technical advance in detriment of the spiritual growth. So what happened to the Atlanteans was they got very technologically advanced, but they hold on their spiritual evolution. So about 25 years ago, Marduk, that is the son of Enki, and on the Bible he's considered Satan, he was completely in charge of Atlantis. And they wanted to create the New World Order already on that time. Can you believe that? Yes, that's what they wanted. So all the other races, the Rama, Yu, the Maya, and even the good Atlanteans, they all was in agreement with the Lemurians. But the Lemurians was kind of the leader. So we say, let's destroy the leader first, and then we go to the other ones. So they decide, first they talk to the Lemurians, okay, you guys allow us to create the New World Order. And then I said, no, I think you guys need to allow all civilizations to evolve in that one. So that was their answer. Marduk didn't like it. So they got a machine that would be able to track satellite and move in space. So they took one of our moons, and unfortunately the organic one, they bring it over Lemuria and destroy Lemuria. That's what they did. Of course, the Lemurians, many of them, they knew in advance that would happen, and some went to inner earth and create an inner city called Telos. And that city is under the Mount Shasta in California. So Lemuria was destroyed, and all that remained was those islands, especially here, Hawaii. So many people that had lives in Lemuria and goes to Hawaii had like the deja vu moments. I have been there before, have been here before. So let's move on because I still have lots to cover. What happened 17,000 years ago? There is a star system called Capella. We can see from here with a microscope or with a telescope, of course. And what was happening to them was what it's happening now. They were changing their vibration. The stars was evolving to another dimension, but was some souls that was hanging behind. They were not ready to go to the next step, to the next evolution, spiritual step. So they were sent to Earth. So when they came to Earth, many of them sided with the Atlanteans. So, of course, some continued their spiritual evolution, but some really just sided with Marduk and helped create the fall of Atlantis. So, what happened 12,000 years ago? The fall of Atlantis happened. Why Atlantis needs to fall? Well, for many reasons. One of them, Marduk already had destroyed Lemuria. But the other civilizations was still not giving up. So they just decide, okay, so Rama and you will be the next. So they planned to, with their machine, to track one of the asteroids from the asteroid belt, bring it to Earth, and explode over Rama and you. But when they did that, they decided to do that in the wrong time, because Nibiru was arriving in the solar system, and they just changed the trajectory of the asteroid, and instead of go over Rama and you, there was something around here, it fell over Atlantis. And then you say, nobody from Atlantis survived. Many people survived. Some went to inner Earth, the ones that was more advanced, like fifth dimension, that didn't side with the that was still going with their spiritual evolution. They went to the inner Earth, and others escaped by some sort of boat and went to the Egypt. There is a story in one of Dolores Cannon book that two of them, they made it to Egypt, and they were highly advanced. They had some tools that they hide in the pyramids. So some escape, and they are still there. They created an inner city called Agarthan. And then say, but Eleonora, is 2,000 years. How can a human being live 2,000 years? Remember, they were created with another type of DNA, a crystalline DNA. We became carbon-based DNA when Marduk did created an enslaved race, and also during the fall of Atlantis, with a combination of many things that they created to really keep our vibration low. So the vibration was going low and low, and then everybody will become more carbon-based. So that's how we are there. But our DNA, for example, when they created the race, they were not able to extract 10 of the DNAs and keep only 2. They just deactivated. And with our one mind, we are able to reactivate those DNAs. And that's what is happening right now. That's what is happening. We are reactivating those DNAs. So I see there is some people that speaks Portuguese watching. I'm happy that you can understand the English. And I also gonna do a live in Portuguese and Spanish. I just didn't decide the date yet. Maybe it will be this week, but maximum next week. I'm gonna do a live, the same live in Portuguese and Spanish. So let's go to the next. 2000 years ago also started the Golden Age. So that's the thing. Marduk, let me show you another picture. Okay, here is our solar system, Earth somewhere around here. I think it's this way. So they were right here, always getting in the photon belt. And Marduk wanted to create a new world order to bring darkness to Earth right here. So it wasn't his moment. That's why Atlantis needed to fall. It wasn't his moment. So they defeated, when Atlantis fell, they defeated all Marduk's plan. Of course, he didn't die, and Enki didn't die. They escaped with a spaceship, right? Because they had some. So, but they couldn't do nothing for 2,000 years because Earth was protected by the light. Earth was on the golden age of Leo. That I will go back to the presentation to explain what happened this time. But what I wanted to tell you here is we are leaving the era of Pisces and enter the other golden age. That's the golden age of Aquarius. Oh boy. Okay. Is that then my... Wait just 1 second because I wanted to... I start another live on Instagram. El quinto chakra. Sorry. Let me just start another in Instagram because the Instagram didn't like that it was taking too long. But there was some people there, so I want... Hello, dear ones. So I'm sorry. I think there was a time limit in YouTube, or not in YouTube, in Instagram. So I just created another live. So just going back, we are getting in the next golden age of Aquarius, where the Earth will again spend 2,000 years inside the photon belt. And no darkness will be able to remain on Earth during this period. So let's go back to our presentation. I just want to see quick if I have how many people I have in each one here. All right, let's go back. Just remember, by the end of this presentation, for each one, I will choose one of you that decided to help me making some donations. I will choose somebody to have 1 hour coaching with me. So let's go back to the presentation. What happened on the golden age of Leo? Isis decided to come at that time to Earth, and Isis was very, she's very involved on the explorer race, on the Earth's project, let's say this way. I'm reading a book about Isis, and I probably am gonna make a video about Isis and the Golden Age. But right now, what I want you to know is during that age, there was peace and light on earth, and Isis and Osiris was the ones that was ruling that age, and they were doing that in Egypt. But of course, Marduk never gave up, and there is a story that there is a Set. I know Set is actually connected to Marduk. I don't remember exactly how, but he was able to kill Osiris, but they still have a son called Horus. I'm not gonna explain much about that part today, but I'll create another video explaining more detail what's really happened and how she was so influential at that time. So let's just leave it there. I'm sorry, that's not what I really wanted to do. Okay. So after the Golden Age ended, remember, it's when the Earth is in the photon belt, there is only light. So they really can't do much about. When you leave the light, you will still get a bathed from the light because you are still close. And then you're getting further and further and further. So for each, in India, they divided this period in 5 Kali Yuga years, and one being the darkest one, the one that you are further away from the light. So, and that further away from the light actually is let me go again to this one here. Is Iris. Let's see what is Iris. Anyway, so that's when Marduk decide, oh, that's my time to reign. So let's go back to the presentation. Oh, so actually this one, what happened 323 years ago. Many of you already heard about the Diluvio, Noah's flood. What many people doesn't know, I don't know if the Bible tells that in detail, that happened because Earth there was too many abominations on Earth that time. All of them created by Enki to really try to destroy the human race that was living here at that time. So there was many monsters, all types of monsters. Those mythology monsters with snakes with so many heads and all those crazy things. He really created those things. You don't need to believe in me. But the real purpose of the Diluvio was to get rid of those abominations. So, but doing that while preserving the God gene DNA that was the descendant of Enlil and Noah. It comes to Noah. I made a video about Jesus' ancestors that I put a trace back all the way from Adam Cadman to Jesus. So I'm gonna make a video about Noah's flood with more detail later on. So what happened 2924 BC? what happened was the destruction of the cities Sodom and Gomorrah. And that happened at the same time that Marduk was took control of the Nibiru planet. And also he started reigning on earth. But he didn't want to reign only on earth. He didn't want to be the most powerful only on earth. He wanted the whole solar system, the whole galaxy, the whole universe. But to do that, he needed access to some portals that was in the proximities of Sodom and Gomorrah. There were galactic portals that was connected to very strategic positions on the galaxy that for any means could not get in the hands of Marduk. So Abraham, he got the task to destroy those portals. But that's all that I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna make more video about that later. So that's why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. And what happened 1800 BC? What happened at that time? Remember the Babel Tower? Well, during when Enki downgraded our DNA, and then he created I think I already made a video about that. I'm not sure I forgot the name, where I explained that Earth was created as a fifth dimensional planet after the fall of Atlantis. With some tricks that Marduk did, he was able to bring Earth down to the third dimension. So Earth started existing in the third dimension at that time. And all the beings, all the humans on that time, they started to incarnate on three-dimensional bodies, carbon-based bodies, but still with their 12 strands of DNA, but most of them deactivated. But with the power of the mind, anyone can reactivate those DNAs. So what was happening is, at that time, the people were slowly activating those DNA. And by doing that, they were getting some, what we call, supernatural powers. They were, for example, they were becoming more telepathic. But again, Marduk wanted to give them technology in exchange of their spiritual evolution. So they were creating this Babel Tower to actually be a place to receive, to attract. I don't know, I think they intended to, that's not they would go all the way to the heavens, but he wanted tall enough to, and then open a portal in the top of that, and where all the spaceships and everything would happen from there. So what happened that time? All the human race was degraded again. That's what happened. So it was placed an implant in the astral body that would kind of cover or make a way that the pineal and the pituitary glands would not work properly, so would stop their DNA activation. until the time that they could evolve spiritually first and then that the physical powers. So that's why the language that they were talking here, the same language, it was telepathy. That was the language of thoughts. They'll just think and the other know. So when that was took away from them, and then they no longer could understand each other, that's how that didn't happen. So I'm planning to make another video giving more detail about that. I'm not sure when. So 2027 years ago, Earth was in a very, very bad position. There was just too much darkness. So we live in a world of duality, so you cannot have too much of one. So the darkness was too strong, was too powerful. So they needed more light on Earth. So that's why Jesus was born at the time he was born, to bring more light to the earth. But Jesus was not the only one that bring the light. It started with his grandma, Anna, and only from Anna she brought forth 18 beams of light. So let's continue. What happened in 1945? The nuclear bombs in Japan happened. That's what happened. And we come here, we forget who we are, and we have free will. We have free will, and there is the law of no intervention. Another human race or a more advanced spiritual being, or even your guides and angels, they cannot really intervene unless they are asked for. So there is a law of no intervention with us. We're supposed to evolve in our own. The only time that it's allowed to overpass that no intervention is if we are about to destroy the planet physically. That's what was happening on the time of Atlantis, because they were planning other stuff too. In one of Dolores Cannon book, there was a being saying they wanted to get the power from the center of the earth. So they were about to damage the grid of the earth. So there was many reasons why they had to stop. They had to fall. When they detonated those 2 nuclear bombs, there was a red flag throughout the whole universe. Okay, those crazy kids are gonna destroy the planet and damage the whole universe. What are you gonna do? And the problem was not only with those 2 bombs, because when US did that, all the other countries that had, they started to test in theirs. That's what happened. So the thing would be catastrophic. There was a real intervention where the Galactic Federation of War, that's now is the Galactic Alliance, they came to Earth. They went to talk to the president, to the ones in power, and say, you guys have to stop it. You guys have to stop it, or you're gonna have to end the party. So that's why they stopped it. But and then they still had a problem. Well, the way we are going, remember, Earth was always 5th dimension. About 12,000 years ago, it was pushed down to the third dimension. But Earth wants to go back to the fifth dimension. Here, by the time where before Earth was gonna cross the photon belt again, she wanna go back to the fifth dimension. But to do that, she needs to increase the vibration. She needs to increase the vibration, the light on the planet. And there was just too much darkness. The darkness was really in, and they could see many bad timelines that would push us even down. On the books from Dolores Cannon, Conversations with Nostradamus, one of his missions was to alert us about this timeline and change it. So it did happen. So another thing that they did was, okay, we cannot intervene. But if we incarnate as a human, and then we can infiltrate from within. So that's what they did. And you can read the book of Dolores Cannon called The Three Waves of Volunteer, that she explained about that, the three waves of volunteer. The first ones really came around the 1950s. And then the second wave, the third wave, and then right now is coming the fourth wave. So those are the star seeds. And then they're giving many names: indigo, crystal, rainbow, divine, and many others. There is a book from Sherry Dividend that's really, she explained very well about the star seeds. So that's what happened. Many light beings, people that had no karmic link with Earth, many that was already ascended all the way, completed their evolutionary path, they were already back with God, they decided to come back. They decided to answer the call and come and incarnate here as a human being, to help rise the vibration of the planet. So that's the real mission of the star seeds. Of course, that the dark forces didn't like that. So that's okay, then let's get a counterattack. So they were here, but they could not do much without being invited. For example, if the reptilians would go to a planet without being invited, the Federation, the Galactic Federation could just go there and take them out. Because they're more powerful than them, so they could do that. However, if they get an invitation, and then they cannot do it. So that's what happened with the Majestic 12 3D. That 3D, those little grays here that doesn't even look that ugly, they came to Eisenhower and they make an offer. Look, we need to save our dying race. We just want 200 human beings from your prison, one of your prisons. We abduct them, we're not gonna harm them, we'll give them back, and in exchange we give you some alien technology. That's a good deal, right? You help me, I help you. But that was not all the plan. And at the same time, the Galactic Federation of Worlds sent an emissary, actually a team, and one was Valtor from Venus, that also talked to Eisenhower. Actually, he remained on Earth for about 5 years, and he became very friend of Eisenhower. And he told, look, they are lying. That's not all the plan. The plan is you sign the 3D, and actually they belong to the reptilians because they are in a slave of them. So they will just get they get in, and after they are in, you guys cannot take them out. So Eisenhower decided, okay, I'm not gonna do it, but the Majestic 12 did in his back. So I'm gonna make another video with more detail about that. So that's when the human abductions started, at least the bad ones. So what happened in 1987? Remember the first wave of starseeds start coming in 1950s, and in 1987, and actually it's less than 40 years, sorry, they already succeed to increase the light on the planet. The Earth needed 50% of light to be able to secure the timeline to go to the fifth dimension. And Earth reached that 50% for the first time in 1987. However, between 1987 to 2012, it was going back and forth. So really in 2012, the timeline was completely secure. So Earth would go to the fifth dimension with or without humans. So once the Earth was secure, now was the time to help as many humans to wake up as possible, to wake up to their true dimensional nature, to their spirituality, to remember who they really are. And basically it's very simple, to choose love instead of fear. That's all. So what happened in 2020? I can say lockdown. And then there was a terrible thing. Many people died. But a beautiful thing happened that too. Many people broke free. Many people broke free. And because they were so oppressed, they were so much told what they could not do, what they must do, whatever, their freedom were taken away so brutally that they have to react. That's what I did when I decided, oh, you're threatening me to take my job, or I have to do what I don't want to do. Keep your job. I'm out. So the human desire for freedom is stronger than their fear. The false evidence appearing real is stronger than their fear of death. And that's really true. Let's say a house is catching fire. Maybe that's not the good example. Okay, let's say you are in the top of a building, and then you are afraid of heights, but the building is catching fire. And over there you see everything is arranged, there is something there to catch you down. You just have to jump. You need the courage to jump. You want to jump. Many people go to war because they believe that they are fighting for their freedom. They don't want to die, but they think their freedom is more important, and that's okay if that costs their life. So freedom is the deepest thing in our soul. What was happening before? It was the frog and hot water effect. The frog is there in the water, and then you turn on the fire. But you increase little by little. Increase a little bit, oh, it's getting warm. And then you will stop, and then he accommodates. Oh, okay, feels comfortable. And then you increase a little more. It's okay, it's still okay. I adapt until the time it starts boiling, and then it's too late. But if you suddenly increase and he didn't have the time to acclimate, he'll just jump out. No, I'm not liking here. So basically, that's what is happening. People want freedom, and they realize that their key was in their back pocket all the time. It's only depend on them. It's all in their mind. So what is going to happen between 2024 and 2028? The solar system, our Earth, will be completely immersed on the photon belt. That's what is going to happen. And there will be an energy event that is going to happen. When that really happens, that will combine the energy from the central sun, the energy from Alcyon, the energy from our sun, Helios, and the energy of all the light beings that are on Earth right now, all the people that is already working on themselves, that is able to hold that light. So there will be a combination of things to that point. And when that happens, the dimensional split of Earth will finally happen. Right now, we are living in many dimensions at the same time. For example, 2 weeks ago, I was on Ismael Perez book signing in Hermosa. There was around 200 people that's working on themselves. I felt that I was in the 5th dimension. Where on Earth you want to see people waiting in line for more than 2 hours without complaint? There was no complaint. I didn't heard any complaint about have to wait in line, or even about any other thing. Everybody was happy, exchanging experiences. That was beautiful. That was the 3rd dimension. And then you go to other places, and then you see the 3rd dimension, the 4th dimension. So right now we are living many dimensions all in one. However, when the solar flare happens, and then Earth will separate from the harmonic universe 1 that involves the dimensions 1, 2, and 3, and we'll go to the harmonic universe number 2 that has the vibrations 5, or the dimensions 4, 5, and 6. And then what are you going to say? But Lemuria, what is going to happen with the people that are not ready to ascend? They know nothing about the spirituality. They don't even know about their thoughts. That's the beauty of it. If you are working in service to others, if you are choosing love at least 51% of your time, you go to the harmonic universe number 2. Depends on your soul's evolution, you may go to the 4, 5, 6, and even up. That's what's gonna happen. And then this, I thought it was just like a beautiful representation of 4th dimension, 5 and 6. I'm gonna make a video explaining more about the solar flare. Remember the Bible, they say there will be, after the heaven and earth, there will be 1,000 years of peace. Give me a second. Oh, drop water myself. So, after 2,000 years, after 1,000 years, there will be the final battle against the ultimate enemy. Okay. Ismael Perez revealed that in his book and also in his interviews. So whoever doesn't make the timeline, that will be the wicked one, who doesn't make the good timeline, that will be kept on the 3-dimensional earth, they will merge with that knowledge, where their soul will be put apart and their body will be used by technology. That's what happened. And I just put here a picture of this creature, nano, technology. I'm just talking around for the sensor ship. So they are micro, very micro. You can only see them with microscopic. They are very, very little. And they are many. And they are in the chemi, the trace that you see on the sky. They are in some of the things that, I would stay away from them. But each one do their own choice. So, what's happened next? Of course, always have the next one. So before everything started, our galaxy and the Milky Way galaxy was just one gigantic galaxy. It's called Enway. I saw this information before from other sources, and Ismael also confirmed that's true. So the scientists can see on the sky that the Andromeda galaxy is getting closer to our galaxy. And say, oh, there will be a collision, some destruction, oh, everybody gonna die. No, actually, you're not all gonna die, because you're gonna be in another dimension, and there won't be there won't be a collision. There will be an infusion. So it will just merge back together. That's what's gonna happen. And it will again become the center of the super universe of Orbiton. And Earth, the harmonic universe number 5, I think, will be on the center of the super universe of Orbiton. That's how important is our beautiful planet Earth. And after that, Earth will never experience darkness again. never again. So that's really, really good news. I hope that you enjoy my presentation. Oh, these are the books. Let me just see here if I can choose somebody. I will, okay, let me see. I see one that her name is, okay, I'm gonna choose Cassia. Her name is Cassia. I'm gonna enter in contact with you. Okay, let's return here. Here is Ismael Perez book, the second edition. Those are all Dolores Cannon's book. And then you say, Eleonora, I don't have time to read all those books. I think more than 10 of them now, they are available in audiobook. So honestly, I listen to 10 of them because my time to read is not that big either. So this book about Hiroshima is very, very interesting. You're going to understand a lot if you read this. So, and I also got a lot of good information from this book called The Pleiadian Agenda from Barbara Handclaw. She's really good. She has other books too. So that's all that I had for today. Thank you very much for watching my videos, for watching the presentation with me, for being with me all the way to the end. I stop seeing the presentation. Please, if you would like to add the name of your country, to type the country you are seeing me, you are living, I would really love. I'm sorry, I got just a call, but I'll call back. So that will be amazing. Thank you again for all your support. Please share and subscribe. Send this information for your friends and family that you think will enjoy learning more about that. Much love and light to you, and I see you next time. Let me just turn off the... Stop here first. And